Before the court today is the case of Rotzker versus Goldberg. I'm here on behalf of my client, Robert Goldberg. Mr. Goldberg, along with all the other young men who are required to register for selective service, are subject to a draft. The limitation of the selective service to young men creates a situation in which it is more likely that my client will be drafted to serve in the military, a situation made only more likely in the current political climate. My client is a conscious objector. He understands the necessity of defending one's country but feels morally opposed to the current regime and its wartime philosophies and goals. It is 1971. Women serve in the military. Women have fought to be treated equally and to be able to serve alongside men. The selective service registration conscripts those who do not volunteer for the military service and requires a sacrifice of the enlistment. The sacrifice is so extensive that it can include the ultimate sacrifice of one's own life. If my client chooses to align himself politically in such a way that opposes the current agenda of the executive branch of government, he should be no more obligated to serve than anyone else who does not volunteer for the military service. If involuntary service is mandatory, then it should apply equally, just as the protection of the Constitution applies equally. The Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution was designed to prohibit unreasonable discrimination. The intent of this clause is to provide equal treatment for all citizens of the United States, regardless of age, race, gender, sex, and ethnicity. The government itself is requiring unequal treatment of the citizens based on sex, eliminating all women from the selective service while requiring participation for all men. This is blatantly discrimination against both sexes. In an effort to further the meaning of the equality in the United States for all, I ask you, the Supreme Court Justice, apply the Equal Protection Clause to the Constitution to all citizens in a matter of requiring registration for the selective service. There is no legitimate reason to exclude half of the citizens from this particular requirement. The duty of the service should be either voluntary or mandatory for all. This is not a gray area to be divided among the sexes, and by treating the sexes with bias causes discrimination that affects all. I ask that my client and others like him be treated fairly as United States citizens. Thank you.